Live from my mother's basement. Here's Johnny. Got a cool wrestling t-shirt on today. It's very old. 1998. As you can see, you've got a mean ring to Savage, Kevin Nash, Sting, Lex Luger. Over here, if you can see, it's he's giving you the little Wolfpack symbol. Don't ask us with the accent. I don't fucking know. Cold. Not feeling it today, guys. But I have a lot of shit that I've been reading, and a lot of other people have been making videos, and I wanted to do some quick comments on stuff. So here we go. We're just gonna kind of see what kind of trouble I can stir up today with this channel. One of the first things that came to mind for doing this video was that I wanted to answer a couple of Q&A questions. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, my Facebook is being really stupid right now, and I can't find the questions that were sent to me. So that'll have to wait for another video down the road, and if you were looking forward to that, I apologize, but I'll find them. I always do. I'm just having a really hard time right now. You can see clearly that I am stuffed up to shit, and definitely not up to snuff today, but I wanted to comment on how awesome this shirt is. First of all, I'm surprised that my fat ass still fits in. I wanted to comment on the whole Randy Orton injury thing. I got in on this a little bit late. I think a lot of people had already known that he was already written off and out with this injury for months, if not miss WrestleMania. And I think that, that's a pretty big blow for WWE as it is. I honestly thought that when Barrett put him through the table on Raw a while back, that must have been 2 weeks ago already, that he was injured, and apparently since like the 19th he's been injured or some shit. So this is really bad. Like, I often wish that he or Cena would get fucking hurt just to prove a point, but when you think of the big scope of things, the business really needed him right now, especially with his little feud with Barrett to put him over. Other wrestlers are probably going to suffer for this because Orton was one of the bigger face draws right now for the time being, and they don't really have anybody else to step into that role, which sucks. So they're probably going to do the safe thing to build up to Mania and expect a lot of rewrites to go on. And sorry, Daniel Bryan, I don't think your future looks very bright without somebody like Orton there to put you over better. CM Punk would probably return to SmackDown somehow, some way. I could definitely see them dropping the title off of him, putting it back on Cena, and then having Rock and Cena feud for the title at WrestleMania 28. It seems to make a lot of sense at this point to do that, and to stack the deck with the Taker match being against a veteran like Triple H at this point, because none of them seem to, wrestle outside of the bigger events. They have less of a chance of getting hurt, which I think is something that Vince is trying to really focus on right now, because there's a lot of people out with injuries like Del Rio and Henry and fucking what goes on. I think even Beth Phoenix just got legit hurt from one of those stupid Alicia Fox spinny flip move leg drop things. So it'd be interesting to see what they do with her. They'll probably take the title off of her and put it on somebody else really soon. Kelly or Eve or something, just as a transition. Because I do hear that Layla is supposed to make a re-debut and return, and they'll probably have her run with it for a while since she hadn't been around, and that would be kind of a fresh face. But overall, this Randy Orton injury thing. Now, I know that a lot of the rumors out there have been that, he got caught, violating the wellness policy, and with as big of a star as Orton is, I don't think that he would violate the wellness policy. And if they did, I think they'd still can his ass. I don't think anybody's above the wellness policy. I know they never really test Triple H, and he was always, rumored to be roiding it up, but Orton legit, looks in pain, and the past couple of Raws I had seen him, a couple of events that he was involved in, he looked like he was moving differently, so, I can see that it would be an injury. Plus the whole 6-month thing. Why would it be a 6-month suspension if he was caught violating a wellness policy? That doesn't make any sense to me. 6 months seems like a typical back injury, heal time, reasonable thing. If he does have, some kind of herniated disc or something, just because I'm not a medical doctor doesn't mean that other people in the business haven't been out with this type of thing before. And I would just pray that with as young as Orton is, and as much as that they've invested in him, that he doesn't have to fucking suffer the same fate that guys like Edge and Stone Cold did, where they had to work through all these injuries, and it ended up really shortening their career in the long run. So that was definitely something that was on my mind that I wanted to address. Mr. Parkin, he's part of the British Fist, if you guys don't already know. If you don't follow them, go do it. The British Fist. If you can't find it on YouTube, you're not trying hard enough. It's one of the most popular channels out there. Daniel Parkin and NJ. Mr. Parkin has released some videos over the past week about the titles becoming reunified for WWE, and or the brand split, the Raw SmackDown, and becoming a unified roster. And to that point, I know that there are pros and there are cons of each situation. But if you want to take it from a standpoint of an older fan like myself, and you want to go the route of wisdom and what has worked in the past, I've been advocating for a while, for a number of, probably 2 years now, that maybe like 3 years even, that the Raw SmackDown split is not stupid anymore. Like, they don't have the caliber and the sheer number of performers that they used to have back in the day that are in that upper card, and it makes it really difficult. The two different brands, especially all the different shows all over the country. Like, if they were to just keep the same unified roster, it would make so that you could really change up the title scenes. You wouldn't always have the same people facing off. I think that if they had similar, like one big unified roster, that you wouldn't see John Cena get 3 titles in a year. I'm pretty sure that you'd be able to ignore it a little bit and keep things fresher. And if they decide to go that route, like the heel Kane monster run would be even that much more impactful, because it wouldn't just be like, oh, well, this guy's holding it over here, and then on this other show we have another top guy. It would be like, Kane is the top guy. That's who we're going to go with. And, to be honest, with all the injuries and shit that have just happened, and the way that Kane's made his monster return, it would make sense logically to put the belt on somebody like him for a while. Now, granted, this whole Cena Rock thing is already, set in stone. There's not a whole lot that they can do about it. I don't expect to see any big, huge surprises. I don't expect to see, Cena turn heel. I don't expect to see Rock make a whole ton of debuts prior to WrestleMania. It's just going to be a standard appearance thing, and then he's going to be gone. But if they were to have Rock do one last run with the company, I would want to see him with the title. I think it would really mean a lot. And I think a lot of us older fans would be brought back into the product, through that. And, not that Rock couldn't carry the title. After 7 years away from the business, he got back in the ring and had like zero rust and was moving around way faster than I've ever seen, anybody move in the past years. It was ridiculous. So, in terms of the titles, I think that when you have less titles, less is actually more. There's no reason to have Intercontinental and a US. You need one mid-card champion. You've got all these like little mid-carder-esque people, and like half of them don't even get featured on television. And you need to be able to write feuds for them, not feuds for belts for pay-per-views. And I think that going back to a traditional hierarchy of the women's title, the men's on top, world heavyweight championship title, the Intercontinental mid-card title, and the tag team titles is your recipe for success. Back, years ago, it can work again. There's no reason to have 6 belts, or is it 6 anymore? It could be 5. I don't even fucking know. My head hurts. I can't think about it. But really, when you get into it, all they do on the pay-per-views is write for the titles, and then they have like one feud that's not like they've had like the Randy Orton Wade Barrett feud, and prior to that they had the Christian and Sheamus feud, and that's no way to get new people onto TV and shit. So if we eliminate the amount of belts and we start having more number one contenderish type matches and really elevate the prestige of those titles, because there's less of them. Like not everybody in the company has a title, so. If guys like Zack Ryder would be holding the Intercontinental title, the same title that guys like Macho Man and Honky Tonk Man and fucking Mr. Perfect, Ricky Steamboat, legends from the past have held Ultimate Warrior even. Not that he's, the end-all, beat-all of anything, but, he was a great performer at his time. And when I was young, I always rooted for him because he was so energetic and high impact, and you just wanted to see him. He was a mega baby face. Like, he was on the same fucking level as Hogan for a while. That's why he had the run the title, at WrestleMania 6. It was a system that worked. They didn't have 2 fucking brands then. And think of the amount of talent that they had at the main event, caliber then. They had Andre the Giant, they had Hogan, they had Warrior, they had fucking, oh my god, they had so many people. They had DiBiase at that point, the $1 Million Man. He very well could have. And, they had so many guys back then. And now they have like a roster of like 2 people that they have faith in, and the rest of them is just like Cena Orton on top and everybody else. It's just so I think that ending the brand split and putting guys like your favorite dudes on Raw and stacking that show, making it very important, restructuring the way that it's built, and then making SmackDown more of the B show, and still featuring some of the champs to give them, like, a chance to build their feuds a little bit better, but at the same time featuring number one contendership matches, and like just having other feuds outside of belts, just people not getting along with each other, to showcase more talent on TV. And then you could do things like move the Alex Rileys and the Drew McIntyres and the other people up that way and get the fans behind them. And you could create tag teams that way and feature them on a show like SmackDown, so that they can, get their sea legs or whatever you want to call it underneath them before they go to the Raw ship, which is the huge show. So, before I drag on here for another half hour, if you like what you're hearing, please, give me the old subscription or thumbs up or some shit. Expect me to get back in the swing of things with Dreamboy899. We're probably going to do some audios here soon again. Keep a lookout for, all the other stuff that this channel is going to be about here in the next coming months. It's still going to be all wrestling based, but there's going to be a lot more stuff to do. And peace out, guys. Thank you for watching.